Hey friends, Jordan Woods Robinson here from AMC's The Walking Dead and Blue Man Group. And this is PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture. We're a geek podcast for geek culture. So are you ready to get your geek on? Sit back, relax, grab some gluten-free, non-GMO popcorn, and let's dive into the world pop culture bliss.
I'm Jamie, a.k.a. Scumboy.
I'm Andrew Walsh, a.k.a. Bat Phantom.
I'm Kevin, a.k.a. Neon Nazgul from the Operation Pug Podcast.
A proud member of the Gonna Geek Network.
Just like the show you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of each individual host.
Check out all the podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready because geekiness begins in 3,
2,
1.
You are listening to PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture.
Captain's log supplemental.
PopXcast.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Excelsior!
All right, and welcome everyone. This is PopXcast. This is another amazing episode. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm so excited for tonight. Lindsay Badger, how are you doing on your end? What's up? What's going on in your
I have
world?
had the most amazing weekend. We have been busy enjoying the beautiful weather this summer,
Nice.
hanging out by the swimming pool, running around in sprinklers. We even had homemade ice cream today.
What? You had homemade ice cream?
Yes. Yes.
Whoa.
It was we had like the full Sunday bar going. Banana splits on the back porch. Oh yeah.
I am
It's
so
good stuff.
jealous right now. You have no idea. Although, allow me to trump yours. I was... No,
I will trump you better, sir.
Let me go. No, I was actually over at Clearwater Beach yesterday with the family. My mom and dad, they just moved down from Kentucky just a couple of months ago. And so this was kind of our first family outing with my mom and dad and Alex. And we all went and went to the beach, and we stayed till way late in the afternoon. I don't know what is going on with my hands tonight. They're just really animated.
You're very animated
I'm an
today.
animated kind of person.
So this is the first time you've been there this season?
This season, man, let me tell you,
Guys,
the water
had
was
some great
82
pictures.
degrees.
That's like bath water.
It was so awesome.
Hush.
You have no
Oh my
idea.
goodness.
Turquoise blue waters. It was just crisp.
You know something else the amazing that happened this week, right? Is the whole reason why we're here tonight.
Wait, don't say anything.
What happened?
Todd McFarlane got an actor to play. No, is that it? No, that can't be. No, that's a little bit.
Well, we'll touch on that later.
Okay,
but I
okay.
think the main reason why we're here is because
Wait. It's coming to me. I lost it.
something happened in a galaxy far, far away this week.
But did it really, though?
We'll talk about it.
We'll
later.
talk
How
about
that. Let's dive into it, shall we, Joe?
Oh man, I tell you what, that was a great little intro. Hey guys, this is so cool. We have our chat room hanging out. We were just talking about the new show that's on Netflix, The Toys That Made Us. There's some people, Sean.
That's such a great
I
show
know, right?
series. They need more episodes.
So we're throwing this up for Sean right now over in the PopX chat room here on Facebook
What is your
Live.
favorite episode of that series so far?
Definitely the Star Wars one, when Kenner was like literally just putting clay on figures they had already molded and just kind of like making new molds. I was like, this is so like cheap to make a figure, but
the Barbie episode really had a place in my heart. I was a huge Barbie fan when I was a kid, so that was really interesting for me to see the beginnings of such a huge franchise. It's still really big today.
Well, I do want to say this before we get officially started. I want to say hello to Diane, Sean, and we got Luke hanging out with us over in the PopX. And I also have several of my friends. I have London and Judah hanging out with me. They are awesome. They also have a band here in Orlando called Sunset Roulette. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. But welcome to Facebook Live. This is PopXcast.
While everybody's here, I want them to share the love and the experience by clicking that share button, click the like button. Let's overpower the Facebook algorithms tonight and get the chat room bumping, because I know you guys are amazing people.
Yes.
I want more amazing people to come hang out with us and just make it a big old block party on the internet every Sunday night that we have.
That is legit, Badger. You said it better. So share this, like it. I don't know what you want to do with it, but whatever you want to do with it, you have our blessing.
Turn the bat signal on.
Yeah, that's it. Go to Gotham. Okay. I don't care.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, let's officially open this thing up and get on with the show. Hey, guys, welcome to PopX, where science fiction meets pop culture. I'm your host, Joseph Burke, Central Florida's seasoned comic book nerd and retro enthusiast. Now, we'd like to welcome everyone joining us right now on our Facebook live stream. Hey, guys, if you want to join the conversation or have some fun with us in the live stream, come on over to facebook.com/PopXcast or go to popx.live.
That's right. And I think somebody is missing this evening.
I know. But he, you know what he said? If something happened. All right. So Austin, you're probably wondering where's the fourth window?
I know. We're missing our fourth window.
We're missing a fourth one. Okay. But Austin had a little bit of a lightning storm in Kentucky and wasn't able to join us tonight. So he said, if his internet comes back on, don't freak out when he just randomly pops in the room and finishes the show with us, which we are doing this for him right now.
So fingers crossed we'll get our Appalachian Geek at Heart back in our episode. If not, we will trudge on without him and miss him dearly.
God knows I need some of that. I know, yeah.
Well, tonight I want to make sure that you guys are reminded to head over to Google Play or iTunes after this show's over and subscribe. And while you're there, you can catch up on some amazing shows from the archive. And also, if you haven't done it yet already, make sure you give us that glowing review and also maybe 5 stars if you think we're worthy.
Yeah.
I think we're worthy.
I know we are.
Joe thinks we're worthy.
I feel it.
I feel that everyone would think we're worthy of 5 stars.
I feel the worthiness.
Yes. Well, last week, if you missed, I haven't introduced myself. I am so
how rude. Okay. All right, Jody Sweetie.
Right, well, yes. You got to throw back to the Full House. All right. Well, I'm Lindsay Badger, and everybody knows that I am always the favorite geeky okie on the internet. And last week we threw down on some amazing stuff about Deadpool 2.
Hardcore, man.
Everybody loves the Merc with the Mouth. If you missed it, make sure you go back and watch it on our official website, PopXcast.com. And you can also check out our archive is there as well, video and podcast, audio versions. Just get it all.
It's splendid.
Everything's on the website.
It's just super.
And to kick off tonight, I want to give you guys a quick rundown about what is coming up. First, we have our Pop News, where you get a geeky news flash of all the news that's been going on this week. We've got some good ones.
Yes.
Coming up after the news, we dive right into the topic of tonight, which is Solo, a Star Wars story. But we'll probably go into some more depth about more Star Wars stuff as well, just to add a little extra to our episodes.
Just a little je ne sais quoi.
A little je ne sais quoi.
A little something for the prince.
That we call this
what the heck am I doing? Anyway, I'm shutting up. Let's go ahead and roll that beautiful bean. Yeah, let's go to the news. I'm going to shut up right now. All right.
Extra, read all about it. This is PopX News, coming to you live right here on PopXcast.com.
All right. I love Mike with those graphics. He is so awesome.
There's a reason why we keep him around.
I love that dude. He's hashtag special. So, this has been a crazy week for science fiction, geek, nerd, comic related news. And when we go through this, you guys are probably going to have to pick your chins up off the floor. You're like, what are you saying?
There's some amazing stuff in here.
Well, unfortunately it leads with a news segment that I'm not really too particularly happy about, Lindsay Badger.
Yeah, I know you're kind of partial.
AMC's juggernaut, The Walking Dead, is going to look a little bit different in the seasons to come without Rick Grimes, actor Andrew Lincoln, who's been in the seasons for over 8 episodes. I know, right? What the heck? So Walking Dead fans are still dealing with the shock that Lincoln won't be sticking around for any of the future tales in the zombie apocalypse show. But a bit more information about this exit has come to light. Sources say that Lincoln will be phased out during season 9, a lot like his co-star Cohen will be. Lauren Cohen, now, who will also be exiting the show in season 9 as well. Now, Cohen will only be filming 6 episodes, but it isn't known how many Lincoln will film in season 9. Now, this is some crazy, interesting.
This is big stuff. He's been there since the very first episode, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, he was the one that woke up in the hospital, and it started with Rick Grimes. And here's the weird thing. In the comic books right now, and I know that Robert Kirkman, who is the creator of The Walking Dead, he is actually, Rick Grimes is still very much a part of the Walking Dead comic book franchise. And so not having that lead character and Andrew Lincoln there manning the helm, it's going to be, it's like if Chris Evans, which is coming, leaving the Marvel MCU, or Robert Downey Jr. Right. I know, all right. But you take a character like that who's been around. I mean, this show has been going for it's 9th season now.
Yeah,
and Andrew Lincoln. I mean, me and Alex have followed this show ever since it really came out on AMC, and the first season, man, was just it gets you right by the throat, and you just can't wait for the next episode and the next episode. And so, what in the chat room right now? I'm just curious. I mean, what does anybody right now follow The Walking Dead? Are you guys a part of this whole zombie apocalypse franchise? Are you kind of over it?
I have so many friends and family that are still diehard Walking Dead fans. My house has never really locked into the craze.
Yeah, but you have little ones in the house, so it's hard to watch. Little ones in the house. It's hard to watch like zombies eating someone's throat when there's a.
If we can pull off Game of Thrones, we can pull off anything. Okay.
Well, oh Lord.
That's a different topic for.
I'm not even getting started in Game of Thrones. I'm just saying.
No, that's just something that really hasn't flown across our radar and stuck. I think it was kind of like it came whenever the zombie thing was kind of almost being overdone. Mm-hmm. And it's just one of those that has survived the trend.
I got you.
I think it is commendable that it has lasted for 9 seasons, given the fact of everything that has been going on in the whole world around it involved with zombies. It's still stuck true. So a little change up still. It's dramatic in real life as well as within the show. So I think that's kind of a nice move, even though a lot of people won't be happy about it.
Well, Daniel Kazee over in the chat room actually said he's invested, but his interest over the past few seasons is starting to fade. And I have to actually agree with Daniel, because if you've watched the progression of the show, there are episodes in 7, 8 that is just so hard to watch because it's so slow. It takes forever. And there's some episodes where it just goes off and deals with another character, and you don't even know what's going on back at the camp, and you're like, what the heck? And it's just side story type thing, and it just is a waste of 60 minutes of your life, pretty much, because it doesn't even...
They have squirrel moments.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean when I say that? I think you guys have seen Up.
I think it's story fillers. I think it's episodic story fillers that they have to do, and I don't know. I don't.
That's a sign the show needs to kind of get wrapped up.
They need to just drop a nuclear warhead and kill everybody.
Speaking of wrapped up, let's move on to the next one, because this one's good too.
Ooh, yeah.
All right. The live action Spawn reboot. Have you guys ever heard about this?
Oh boy.
Well, it took one giant leap forward today but this week into becoming a reality, and announced that not only the most amazing musician, also an actor, becoming the Spawn himself, Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx. And a lot of people gave him some backlash about this.
I'm telling you.
But he's Mr. Todd McFarlane, the Todd father, has been so hardcore pushing the promo of Jamie Foxx, and he's been all over the place. It's been really great to see him come back into the light
Look at that picture.
It's so great. Let's see. Todd McFarlane, who first created the character Spawn in the 1990s, will be writing and directing this film.
Oh.
That is fantastic. I love it when that happens. He said, as a superhero and comic book movies continue to prosper and multiply, I'm hoping that we can add to this growing list with a film that presents this genre with a different slant to the storytelling. This upcoming R-rated dark story is my acknowledging that many of Spawn's fan base has grown older over the course of the character's existence. I hope that this direction will be a change of pace from the norms of the big blockbuster films. The presence of both Jamie Foxx as Spawn and Blumhouse Productions will bring a ton of proven experience to the project. So he is trying to bring a different light. And I love that they're starting to dip their toes farther into the R-rated scene with comic movies, because you can bring more of the storylines truer to comics.
We have Deadpool to thank for that.
Yes, thank you for all of them.
We have Deadpool to thank for that, and also too, one of the biggest horror genre franchise production studios is Blumhouse. And if you don't know, they're the masterminds behind Insidious. I mean, tiptoe through the window. No, I mean, come on, if you've not seen The Devil in Insidious, hello, and also The Purge. They are behind The Purge, as well as many other great films. I think they're behind the Conjuring series and all of that as well. But truly an amazing production studios. And then having...
How do you feel about Fox being the main role? I was kind of hesitant, but the more I think about it, think Django Unchained. How amazing was he in that show?
Well, if you think about this, and two...
And other shows as well.
I mean, when I go back to... I've seen him as Ray Charles. Mm-hmm. He did Ray.
So good.
And
so good.
Not only did he actually play the piano and sing the parts as Ray Charles, he acted the parts as well as the man, living with blindness and trying to discover music in himself. And I will say this, to this day, Ray is probably one of my favorite biopic films of all time, right behind Joaquin Phoenix's Walk the Line. Now... So you get into Spawn, I think this is a perfect marriage between Blumhouse, Fox, and whoever else they're going to get. They haven't even cast the crazy clown yet.
No, it's still so early.
So, just saying. But
I would say anyone that's hesitant about it, give it a chance.
Yeah.
Because I know it's a big name, and there's a lot of, folders of categories that he's already, fit in, and it's kind of weird to see him transition to this, but I think he'll do okay.
I think it's time. Lindsay.
I don't think it's going to be like a Batfleck situation. No, I really don't. I don't like Batfleck. Some people do. So.
Well, you know what though? It's almost it's a great casting call for both Blumhouse and for Todd McFarlane Productions. Yeah. So, with that said, I want to make sure we move on because we have a really cool topic tonight.
We don't have
all right, so legendary Marvel creator Mr. Stan Lee would like to see a few of his creations, including Doctor Strange and the X-Men, attend a semester at Harry Potter's alma mater, Hogwarts. What? Wait for it. So Lee took to Twitter to tweet at Harry Potter's creator J.K. Rowling, suggesting that if she were ever wanted to bring the Marvel Universe and the Wizarding world together, that he would be totally okay with the idea. And his tweet said, and I quote, and if you don't know, following the story of Stan Lee, he recently had his Twitter hacked, and there was people posting as him, and it's been going on for like a year and a half, and now he's finally got back his Twitter. And he is actually posting as himself now. So he physically tweeted to Rowling, and he said, hey, at JK_Rowling, if you ever want me and Doctor Strange and the X-Men to Hogwarts to teach a few classes, just let me know, Lee tweeted. And he went on to say, I think they could also hold down the fort against Voldemort. How cool is that? How cool is that? While the idea of bringing together the superhero universe of Marvel Comics and the Wizarding world of Harry Potter's magic-based adventures may seem like an odd idea at first, there's actually quite a bit of similarity between the characters that Lee and Rowling has created in both the Potter universe and the Marvel universe. So... there you go. That would be...
I can totally see Doctor Strange being the professor of dark arts, sliding up into a bar in the dirty side of Diagon Alley, sipping on some butterbeer, hanging out with some crazy people. I can see this right now.
It's a crazy concept when you think about it. And there's obviously, of course, a huge licensing hurdle to overcome to make that happen. But it's not impossible. And so we'd like to hear what you think about that.
I would sign up for like Storm's class on how to control weather.
You know, I would actually sign up for Wade Wilson's money-making class.
The money-making seminar, yes. Yeah,
free chimichangas. All right. Oh, I'm just saying.
My goodness.
All right, continue on, my dear.
All right, well, we're going to switch over to the world of Gotham. This TV series is about to wrap up.
Tear.
I know, it's really sad. It's been such a great show. Great show. If you guys have not started this show, I suggest you do. Because it's so good. You can invest yourself in all the characters. It's really great. Okay, so the entire Gotham series was built around the idea of a young Bruce Wayne growing into the role of Batman as he got older. In the 5th and final season of the series, that future is going to become a reality. When Gotham was renewed for its final season, it was reported that the last installment would feature Bruce's transition into the Caped Crusader. Executive producer John Stevens explained what sort of Bat-like future was in store for Bruce next season. Bat future.
Bat future.
All right, here's what he said. He said, I think what we're going to see, and again, I don't want to spoil anything for fans, we are going to see him make final steps, and we're going to put it all on the table. I mean, we are not going to be any steps for Bruce Wayne to take to becoming Batman that don't get taken this season. We are going to see him go all the way. And I'm sure he said it just like that.
Oh, man. You know what, though? The production quality on Gotham through the FX network is off the charts amazing. And we have all the key... We do. Good. We have all the key players ready. We have the Penguin. We have Mr. Freeze. We have Harvey has been introduced as a young...
Watching this show has been very similar to like watching a chess match. You've been seeing all of the players strategize and put all the pieces in place. And now we are about to see checkmate where Bruce becomes Batman.
Lindsay Badger with the chess similarity pulled. Look at
so great. It's so, I mean, the way that they piece it all together, and there's so much mystery, and that always keeps you on the edge of your seat, but you know that things are coming into play just because you know the main storyline of the Batman saga and his bad guys and whatever, but you're like, I think this person's going to be this. And then sometimes you're right, sometimes you're not.
Sometimes you're wrong, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting to see how everything's come together and actually seeing some backstory. And if you've been following season 4, you definitely know what happened with a certain guy named Jerome.
Yes,
but,
Jerome.
We're not going to say much about it if you've not caught up. So moving on with the news, this is a really interesting one. On May the 30th, the most anticipated console, the Atari VCS, pre-orders went live. Now, listen to this. There are a few different editions available to pre-order. The Atari VCS Day 1 Collector's Edition is $299, exclusive to Indiegogo. And also, the Atari VCS Onyx is priced at $199. Now, Atari's reimagined classic joystick and the all-new modern controller are available for purchase in select packages or as standalone purchases. Now, initial Atari VCS shipments are planned for mid-2019, so we're still quite a ways off. These are pre-orders. They have the mock-ups. They have the working prototypes. The hardware mixes a Bristol Ridge A10 CPU with a Radeon R7 GPU, that's graphics processor, and alongside 4 gigs of DDR4 RAM, not 3, and 32 gigs of a eMMC storage, I think, which is solid state, which supports expansion through external drives and SD cards. Now, the OS is, get this, Linux-based with Ubuntu, and then customized for the Atari-style interface. Now, as an homage to the past of every Atari VCS comes with the Atari Vault collection of more than 100 old-school, all-time classic games, including arcade and home entertainment favorites like Asteroids, Centipede, Breakout, Missile Command, Gravatar, Yar's Revenge, among many others.
Oh,
Now,
look at the graphic there, the interface.
That's
so
actually
colorful. It looks like you're sitting in an arcade. It's great.
The campaign is currently trending at over 9,300 backers, surpassing $2.4 million. Now, you have been following me on this. I'm actually hoping to be able to put in my pre-order pretty soon because I don't know which one I want, and I don't know the package I want, and I haven't had a time because I haven't been around since May 30th. I've been busy with family stuff.
A little bit.
But I want to sit down and definitely put my pre-order in because I don't think they're going to be able to offer this. I think this is a one-time thing, from what I understand, and from what I understand, it's going to be more of a streaming platform and more of a gaming console. The only thing that I'm kind of like cautious about this whole thing, and I think this is probably the reason why I haven't really investigated it as much, Lindsay, is I think that I haven't seen it actually working, and I don't know how it's going to interface. Is Netflix going to be on it? Is Hulu going to be on it? Is YouTube going to be on it? What is it streaming? What else can it do? Does it play CD-ROMs?
So many questions.
I mean, seriously though, they haven't really gave much information on this.
Yeah, that makes you kind of hesitant to invest that money.
Yeah,
because that is a deep chunk. I mean, obviously it's for a game system, but it's a decent chunk of change without having that much detail.
It's an incredible chunk of change, and usually when PlayStation or Xbox launch a console, they give you the skinny on everything that it can do.
They give you everything that you can possibly. Yeah.
Is there multiplayer? I mean, I don't know. They gave us the guts of it. We know what's inside of it, but I want to see what this thing can do, and I want to see it in real time, and I want to see somebody walking through the menus. You can play games.
It plays all of your video games.
Yes. Well, if it played all of my video games, including my NES, Sega Genesis, Sega Master System.
It plays all of your Atari games. Maybe I should have worded that differently.
Yes. I have a lot of games.
I think you should go.
So we have one more news segment, and then Mike's going to join us here in just a few seconds. So go ahead, Lindsay.
All right, let's wrap this up. We have one more. A small look at Wonder Woman's next big screen adventure has been revealed. Wonder Woman's executive producer, Geoff Johns, DC Entertainment president and chief creative officer unveil the tease on social media that hints at the 1980s setting that teases the World War WW84. So that would be Wonder Woman 84.
Right. Yeah.
Suggesting the film will be set in 1984. My birth year. I'm so excited.
Oh,
okay.
Boy. Robin, go ahead.
I'm just, okay. Don't interrupt. The first Wonder Woman film was set in 1917 during World War I. Director Patty Jenkins also changed the background of her Twitter account to feature the logo Friday. Jenkins and star Gal Gadot are returning for the 1980s set story against the backdrop of the Cold War.
Ooh.
The new film will introduce the villain Cheetah, to be played by Kristen Wiig.
What?
Yes. We have a bad guy.
Okay.
Cheetah. I don't know who Cheetah is.
Cheetah,
we'll have to talk about Cheetah.
She's on Mortal Kombat. Go ahead. Okay.
Film is scheduled to release November 1st of 2019. So we'll have to add that to our schedule.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, Kristen Wiig, we know her from Saturday Night Live as the funny... She always played Gilly, the crazy...
I love Kristen Wiig. She's hilarious.
She was in the new Ghostbusters reboot.
She's going to be playing a bad guy. I wonder if it's going to be a funny bad guy or if she's going to be like all serious and like...
Man, I don't know because she is just
I'm worried about this now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, Kristen Wiig is a funny girl. So, you know what though? Who are we to discredit her? But she probably has her acting chops.
I'm going to put her in the same category as Jamie Foxx, and we're just going to have to see how it goes.
Yeah, it's interesting though.
I'm worried,
but I'm excited because it's in 1984.
Oh, I'm so pumped about 1984. So let's do this.
You know, beyond a shadow of a doubt that
moon boots.
Dude, come on, it's going to be awesome. And the Cold War. Fanny packs. I have
gosh.
I have a really cool fanny pack.
She could carry her lasso in a fanny pack. Oh. With some high tops.
The lasso of neon.
Well, it does glow.
It does glow. All right, so we have got a PopX Hit It of the Week coming up for you right now. So let me go ahead and roll that beautiful sound footage, and we'll be right back. Mike's going to join us here on camera.
And now it's time for PopX's of the Week.
All right, so Mike Ippolito, is he around? I don't know what he's doing.
There he is.
There he is, and all
There's
of his.
that handsome devil.
Look at that handsome guy. You make sure your mic's not muted now, little buddy. God love his little heart.
He's not. You just have
Okay.
him muted.
Okay, I do. Yeah. Mike, you have created this amazing thing that, honestly, in my view, kind of trumps the Atari VCS. I don't know. It's pretty awesome, and it does a lot more. Tell us what you made and show us what you made.
Well, it's basically you mentioned about playing all your favorite games, but
Right.
I was able to fit them all in here. And
Now,
that is
wait.
not
Can we
That's
achieve the greatness right now?
No, wait for it. Lindsay, you don't even know what's under that thing. Now, take it out and let's show us. Just take it.
Oh.
All right. Now, this looks like a normal cartridge, right? But look at the bottom. What?
It's like a computer.
There's 3 USB ports, an HDMI. What's the one in the middle? Power supply?
That's the power port. Yep.
What is under the hood? That's my first question.
People are familiar with Raspberry Pi, the different style boards. That's basically what we call a Retro Pi project.
Okay.
And inside of an NES cartridge. Basically, Retro Pi is a very small single board processor.
Right.
That has an HDMI adapter hooked up to it, and also basically a small USB hub. And RetroPie enables you to play all the old retro games. This one right now has approximately over 7,000 games on it.
Whoa, hold on.
Whoa, not
What did
700.
you just say?
Not 700, not 70, not 7.
You have 7,000 games on that thing?
Yes. From all the basically retro.
Oh my God, my brain is
consoles.
exploding right now. How does that work? I mean, is it ROMs?
Yeah, it's small ROMs, but for the size of the games, the size of the ROMs are very, very small because the graphics were very limited for stuff for the Atari 2600, 5200.
Can you guys see my
NES
brain
are the
melting
big
right now? My brain is melting right now.
Joe, I think you found what you need to invest your money in.
Well, I mean, seriously, I think so, right? So let me ask you a question, though. All right, so you plug it in HDMI. So all your games are HDMI on your TV?
Well, the output is in 1080p, but the quality of the games of whatever on the 2600 was,
yeah.
Your 8-bit games.
But you're not getting
the clarity of a 10p.
You're not getting an RCA connection. You're getting
it's HDMI connection.
Wow. And what kind of remote do you use with this thing? Is it? I guess it's got a USB port. So is it a plug and play remote, or can you do Bluetooth with it?
Yeah, you can use basically the remote. You can use a regular gamepad. I have a generic gamepad that I, similar to the old NES game controller.
Man.
But there's a company out there that sells a lot of the old retro controllers, and they're Bluetooth. So you just plug in the Bluetooth adapter.
Josh, my husband, has a Super Nintendo controller that has a dongle that you plug into. He has it plugged into the Switch, and he uses it as one of the controllers, Bluetooth.
Lindsay just said the word dongle, and for me, I think the show is done. I think we need to end right there.
Do I need to say it right now?
Now, so you've got you can do the Bluetooth, you can do USB, and so does it go all the way back to like the Atari 2600?
There's about over 500 games of 2600 on here.
My God. What about Commodore? Does it go back to that?
Yes, you could do Commodore 64, Commodore Amiga. Actually, that's going to be my next project. I'm doing I had an old Amiga from back in the 90s, which I love. And that's my next project, is to build a Commodore Amiga emulator.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot, Mike. I'm going to put you on the spot, but I did want to ask you something. Is there a way that you can put together a part list for our listeners and viewers? That way, if they want to see all the items that they can do, now, they can just go onto this like Amazon list or this part list that we're going to have for them, and they can just like see them. Is there a way to do that?
Probably the easiest way to do it, because where I got my information was just off of YouTube. Basically, you type RetroPie NES cartridge, and there's hundreds of different YouTubers that have, and it's basically the same project, and it's really not a whole lot to it. It's basically, in this case, is a Raspberry Pi Zero. Actually, it's also wireless, so I hope I transfer all my stuff wirelessly onto it. And it's a 3-port USB plus power adapter, which you can get from Amazon for about $7, and also a HDMI to, basically, I guess it's a mini HDMI port, and that was about $5. And then, however you want to customize it, I mean, the original game I remember is the old.
Yeah.
Mario.
Now, how did you get the label? How did you get that label? Is that a special order as well?
I was able to get them. eBay has them. You just search for NES replacement labels,
man,
and it comes with the original one.
That's
and
great.
I bought the sleeve and the case at the NES case, and the original sleeve that has the Nintendo logo on it. I think total that was about $8 or $9. I have about maybe $45, $50 invested in it.
So you're saying you could build the whole thing for like $50?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome.
Shut up and take my money.
I know, right?
You'll have to learn a little bit of Linux, Unix-based. The RetroPie is a Unix-based system, but for the purpose of this, it's pretty easy just to load the RetroPie program. You just download it and you install it. It's also got a 32 gig memory card in it,
right?
And that's where all the ROM store and your RetroPie program stores on there. And it boots up.
That's phenomenal, dude.
That's great.
Thank you for sharing that. And so you took pictures of this too, and I'll have to get those pictures off of you, because I want to be able to put those on the front page of PopX, because I think it's kind of cool. It's a nerdy.
Let's make a blog post out of that. And
we're going to, and I may even just get a little bit of a part list and links to the videos that Mike used for this project. I think it's important because a lot of people don't realize that they can do this. That I didn't realize that you could do this until Mike was telling me about it a couple of months ago.
That's
and I'm
incredible.
like, and now that I see the finished product, I'm like, holy cow! There's a lot of potential you can do here. And people are going out spending $200 and $300 for these retro game systems when they can build one themselves, have a fun project, and do it for like $50. I mean, that's pretty awesome, for me.
Yeah, so there's different versions of the Raspberry Pi. The newest one is a 3B Plus, which is. It has like a gig of memory on board, double the processor. But for a small project like this, just to play old 8-bit games, the Raspberry Pi Zero is perfect for this, because it fits perfectly in the cartridge.
That's awesome, man.
I figured I'd try to get as nostalgic as I could by creating it.
Well, I think you achieved that very well, my friend. So, well, having said that, that's this week's PopX Hit It of the Week. We hope you guys enjoyed that. And now we're going to transition. Mike, thanks for joining us. But Mike's going to be back here in a little bit as we are going to be talking about Solo. So we'll see you in just a couple minutes, Mike. So, Al, as we transition into the actual topic of the show today, which is Solo, a Star Wars story, Lindsay Badger, you went and actually got to see the film this weekend as well.
I did. I actually got to see it twice, and the first time was a little bit different experience than most people these days watch.
Okay.
We took the family, threw them all in the car, and we went to a actual drive-in movie.
How'd that work out for you?
It was a hot mess, actually. But, little kids confined to a car.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out. But anyways, my husband went with me a second time out. We got a babysitter, and we got to see the movie in its full glory in the actual normal theater. Mm-hmm. And we enjoyed it much more that time. So, awesome. I don't know. How many times did you get to see this, Joe?
I saw it opening night here in my local theater, and then Alex and I went over to Disney Springs at the AMC Dine-In experience, where you order a full complete meal and you watch your film at the same time. Pretty awesome. If you've never done the dine-in experience with AMC, it's kind of on point, let me tell you.
We have something similar to that. It's not an AMC, but we do have something similar to that, and it is really kind of cool.
It's fun. So let's talk about Solo, a Star Wars story, right quick. I want all three of us, me, you, and Mike, to share a little bit of our thoughts about it, like we normally do on these type of things.
Did we throw down our spoiler warning?
We didn't.
Warning,
what?
warning. We will be
Okay.
dropping spoilers.
All right, so let's go ahead and roll the spoiler. Lindsay, that's why you're here. Thank you so much for that. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
Well, that's
You're
not the only reason you're here, but all right. So we're going to go ahead and roll the tag, the spoiler alert. So if you've not seen the film, all right, this might be your time to click away.
Danger. You are about to enter a PopX spoiler alert. Beyond this point, there is no return. You have been warned.
All right, you have been warned. The official spoiler alert tag has been rolled. Now, let me share a little bit of I'll go first, then Lindsay, and then Mike. I think for me, I enjoyed the film as it was for entertainment value. And I wasn't looking for some kind of crazy in-depth saga, Avengers Infinity War, Harry Potter Part 8 type, thing where you're going to get some kind of epiphany and some kind of amazing thing is going to be dropped and everybody's left the theater like you've just watched Inception and you've seen the most important movie of your life. I didn't really feel that with Solo, I have to say. There was a lot of ambitious things that I appreciated. There was a lot of ambitious things that was for me done really well. And I think given the fact that this film went through so many directors and ended up in the lap of Ron Howard, Ron did the best he could. Now, mind you, he reshot like 65 or 70% of the film.
That is an incredible amount of reshoots.
And do you understand that he was just put on board just a few months ago? Do you imagine that he had to reshoot this and then the film just came out? That is insane. So there's a lot of overhead with this. And going into the theater, I went in with very little expectations. I mean, I really did. I was like, all right, so this is going to be one of the
I think a lot of people did.
Yeah. I mean, and if you hear a little bit of buzz or gossip about the film that it's not as good or not as comparable to Rogue One, it's probably true. So let me say this. For me, the highlight of the whole film was definitely Chewbacca. I loved seeing his origin story, how he was trapped in the cellar over on the was it Corellian? Yeah. It was interesting how him and Han met and became friends. It was interesting seeing Han Solo kind of like doing the time
speaking
trying
Wookiee for the first time that we've ever experienced.
That was interesting.
That was cool.
But I think honestly, for me, there was so many parts of the film. Did we really even need a Han Solo film? To be honest with you, and that's a big question to ask. There's a lot of moments in it I really truly enjoyed. I liked L3, even though L3 was only in it just a short amount of time. I could have really done a little bit more with L3. And again, you get back into these Star Wars films. There's a lot of political type things going on that's definitely in pop culture today. The politics and all of that, and you get into, what I'm talking about, L3 with the rebellion and just kind of echoing what's going on in the news
the
today.
Civil rights.
The civil rights, yeah. And I'm just like...
Or equal rights, not necessarily civil rights.
And
same thing.
I think I said this recently, and I can't remember, but where I had actually said it. Maybe it was on Twitter, and Han Solo, the Solo film, lacks something that a lot of the Star Wars franchise is embodied with, and that is a phenomenal story. And I think where it kind of misses the mark a little bit is it's a rushed project, and you can kind of tell it in some of the production. Ron Howard did a phenomenal job, though, piecing the puzzles of this mystery together. And where you think of George Lucas for a second. I know I'm rambling on this for a second, but I have to get this off my heart. George Lucas, when he created the first original trilogy, he created characters that you are emotionally invested in. Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader even. And these characters were so part of your life and culture that you when they hurt, you hurt. When they were in pain, you were in pain. And when Luke was on the Dagobah system and learning from Yoda, you were just enthralled in that moment with Luke as he was trying to learn the powers of the Force.
Yes.
And where Han Solo lacks is the heart, because there is no heart. It's a story about Han Solo and just how he got the Falcon, how he did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs, and that's pretty much it. I'm not dogging on the film. Don't get me wrong. It just lacks something that is the special spark that George Lucas originally created the franchise to be. And I think Rogue One is definitely a better film than this. Even though there's parts of Rogue One that drags, I just kind of feel that Solo really misses the mark on a lot of fire. It doesn't fire on all cylinders for me. I think that's about it. I think that's all I want to say about it. It was now, if you're going in as a non-Star Wars fan to this film, and you're going in just to be entertained, to see a great wholesome family film, this is right up your alley. If you're a diehard Star Wars canon fan over the past 35, 40 years, this one will definitely fall short on the mark for you. Though you will appreciate the nods, Easter eggs, cameos, and references, that's about all you get. Lindsay?
Joe, get out of my brain.
I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh, so much of what you said was exactly what I was thinking. And I remember riding home from the movie theater last Friday night with my husband, and I told him, I was just like, I'm trying to figure it out. And he's like, what? And I was like, what it is that I'm having a problem with this film, because the film is good. It's not horrible, but I'm trying to okay, I can't, it's like on the tip of my tongue and I can't quite feel, put it to words what it is that I'm having an issue with. And the thing is that when you started talking about George Lucas and the heart in the movie and the emotions and everything, I'm a sucker for an emotional movie. I want to cry.
Well, I don't want to cry.
Well, not necessarily like bawl like a baby, but I want to
feel connected.
Yes, I want to feel connected to the movie. I mean, I laughed my butt off and cried in Deadpool, and Deadpool's ridiculous. I mean, in some of the other Star Wars movies, there's points where you get so invested and you get so sucked in to not only the characters themselves, but the relationships with the cast members and how they interact with everything, that you become part of the family, sort of. So you feel whenever Han Solo dies, how sad that is. You feel whenever Princess Leia gets shot into space. Oh my God, what's happening?
You feel the weight of it.
You feel it. Yeah. There was nothing in this movie that I felt. I felt almost numb as an outsider just looking in. I was not drawn into the movie. I was not being on an adventure with Han Solo. I was just watching Han Solo do an adventure.
That's a really good way of putting it, actually.
So I really felt like that was the biggest lack for the movie for me. Another thing is, I really wish that they would have fleshed out Kira's story a little more, because there is massive gaping holes.
Where did she go? How did she
holes in her storyline?
Crimson Dawn?
Not make sense. There's not enough explanation. I understand. Let's not shine too much light on a side character and keep it focused on Han and his Solo. I get that, but we really need it. I mean, heck, the last Star Wars episode took an entire 30 minutes to explain a casino run that was pointless. But we should have explained Kira's backstory just a little more, even if it was a one-on-one conversation with Han saying, where the hell have you been for the last 3 years? To get from being in love with each other to only pretending to be in love with me to get what you want because you turned to the dark side. I really don't understand how that whole thing came back to be, and I was really confused. So those were the two big qualms that I had with this movie.
There's a big story with Kira.
There's
and
a massive
you nailed
story
that.
with her, and I wish that they would have went deeper with her and maybe left out a little bit more of some other storylines. Like Beckett, he's a disposable character.
Yeah, Beckett.
We could have left out the love story for him.
True.
I think that would have saved some time. But, whatever. L3, I thought was an L7 weenie. I did not like that droid. I am more of like a C-3PO. I love R2-D2. I love all the other droids, but she was just over the top crazy for me. and I'm glad that she was not in the movie.
Well, K2SO was so
was amazing.
Great.
So good. I was emotionally invested in him, and whenever
When he
died,
died at
I
the
was
end,
upset.
Yeah, I was like, oh
I was
man.
upset.
Yeah.
So I feel that she could have still had her views, but I feel like she could have been toned back a little bit, and I would have been okay.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a little over the top, and I think that the fact that she was in there for a short period of time, I was okay with.
Yeah.
But it was really weird with her and her and Lando.
Yeah.
Doing that relationship thing was a little strange, a little awkward.
Well, I think it's what they were trying to get to with the whole pansexual thing that was going around on the internet, that Lando is pansexual.
Yes.
Well,
And,
we find out it's actually with robots. And I'm like,
okay, so some of my favorite parts of the movie, now that I've got my complaining out of the way, some of my favorite parts of the movie. The first look at the Millennium Falcon in its prime.
Yeah.
Was so exciting to see.
Yeah.
It wasn't this beat up hunk of junk yet.
No.
So it was beautiful to see it in its prime, and it was great to see like the little hologram game. I don't remember. I am horrible with Star Wars terminology. So
I know the chess game.
But the little chess game that they play with the hologram monsters, that was fantastic. Little homage that they gave to the series. I loved how they transition into the pilot switchover. So Han takes the wheel and Chewie gets into the co-pilot. And so you kind of see that baton pass over. There's a lot of really cool spots there that kind of really lock in to the storyline. And it's really cool to see that.
Right.
It's really, really cool to see that. The poker games or whatever, Sarka or whatever it's called, poker game, the card games they were playing. Those were my favorite. Those were my highlights of this movie. And I really feel like they shouldn't be the highlights of my movie, but that is like the most exciting part. The back and forth, the dialogue between him and Lando were really, really great.
Was it me or was Paul Bettany, every time I heard him speak, I was looking at Vision?
Oh my gosh, yes. I told Josh, I was like, I cannot, in this room right now, I cannot see anything but Vision. And the Mother of Dragons.
Yeah.
Vision and the Mother of Dragons is the only thing I see. It was so hard for me to get past these characters because they're so fresh and so new.
Khaleesi and Vision.
Yes, Khaleesi and Vision. But here's the thing, Joe. Whenever we were doing Deadpool 2, Josh Brolin, I could differentiate the two characters.
Absolutely.
Because he sold his character.
He's diverse like that, though. Josh Brolin's just fantastic.
Josh Brolin's amazing. But I really could not get past it, even though he had the bloodshot eyes, and obviously his face wasn't painted like purpley red.
Right.
I really the voice, the mannerisms, the way he moved, even though he was an evil guy, I was like, dude, that's Vision.
Well, I want to save a little time because I have a really deep question that I'm going to ask right at the end of this. So I want you guys.
I got most of it out. So we're good.
Girl, you nailed it. I want to hear from Mike right now, and then once Mike gets on here, I'm going to actually we're going to talk a really important question that's on a lot of people's minds, and we're going to hit it right here. So please stay with us for just a few more minutes.
Wait, just one more thing.
No, it's Mike's turn. No, I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
Okay. Thoughts on the monsters? And I know I'd mentioned this the other day to you too. The big space squid was way like repetitive compared to like there was the one with Jabba the Hutt, the big one in the ground, and also the one with the asteroid worm thing that tries to eat them. It's like, how many big monsters do we have to battle with the same people in almost the same situation?
Big fish eat the little fish.
It was very repetitive.
I know.
Okay, moving on.
I got you. Mike, what did you think, my friend? As he takes a deep sigh.
I have to say one thing though for this movie is I was did a 180 with the lead character Alden Enright.
Yeah.
I thought we even talked about this. I don't know about him. It's just I was kind of on the fence with it. But about 20 minutes into this movie, I kind of changed my mind about him. I mean, he sold me on being Han Solo, and the dynamic between him and Chewbacca was pretty amazing. That was about the highlight of that for me. But overall, I mean, there are very, very few things I like about this movie. As far as my highlight was seeing the Millennium Falcon with that new spaceship smell coming right off the lot. That was impressive. But also Sorry.
You're fine, man. I know it's an emotional thing for all of us.
No,
I'm just teasing with you. Go ahead.
No, but as overall, this production of this movie this was not a Ron Howard film. I've seen a lot of Ron Howard films, and this is not his work. And I have 2 words for this movie, and it's Justice League. Justice League all over again.
Dang,
Mike.
That's the impression I got out of this when I left, and I'm going, this is Ron Howard came in to do the cleanup work, and
he did.
I don't know if it was just to get his name on a Star Wars film, but they should have just scrapped this whole project and let him start from the beginning and do it his way, the way it should have been done.
Wow.
And as far as that, the other parts of it, the robot, whatever, Johnny 5, whatever this robot
Johnny number 5.
was actually just useless to me. I see no significance to that.
Well, I mean, so, all right. So, all that said, how do you feel about the film overall, though? I mean,
I could have done without it. Really, to be honest with you, there's a lot of stuff. This is one of those films that it was not necessary to make.
Yeah.
I don't think it was necessary to spend millions of dollars on this. I was just not thrilled with it. There was just a few moments, like I said, the big was the dynamic between Han and Chewie, the Millennium Falcon, the new version of it. The great throwback to Back to the Future. I enjoyed that very much.
Mm-hmm.
And then towards the end, to see Ray Park come back as Darth Maul.
Oh,
yes. I was saving that one for the end.
that was truly
like
phenomenal.
The Red Skull moment.
Now I noticed. Now you mentioned Darth Maul. I noticed at the end when I went through the credits, he wasn't mentioned as Darth Maul, just Maul. Since Darth Sidious is now dead, he's not an apprentice or he's not a Darth or anything. He is just Maul. And we find out. Go ahead.
I was going to say that was what I just didn't understand about the end of it, to see Maul. So usually when I don't understand, I just kind of resort to YouTube and to get an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
And after watching, some videos about explaining the ending, it was like you needed to see the Clone Wars animated show, the Rebels, the animated show, to understand what this was all about. I mean, I have a better understanding of the West Allen family tree than I do this. What went on?
My husband was very confused too, and I had talked to Joe after we had seen it the first time, and we had discussed a little bit about how that storyline brought up, because I was really confused as well whenever I saw it the first time, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't watch those. You have to be a die-hard fan to be able to keep up with all of those series. Now, speaking of series, how do you feel if they would have not made this a movie but an actual series, like cartoon or live action or whatever?
See, that would have been better. I think.
Feel like they would have had an opportunity to explain a lot more details and to flesh out the ideas that they had for this.
If they would have made a Star Wars series, and obviously it's going to be different actors and different production value and all that. But, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm more excited for an Obi-Wan Solo film than I was for this film. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm on the fence. Mike, how do you feel?
I just, after what I've seen here, I hope they don't make anything, because if this is what it's going to be, and they're talking about Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, why don't you just make a Walrus Man one while you're at it too?
Yeah.
There's no, I don't know. It's just like they're just beating this to death.
Well, here. This is the final question of the night, and all three of you guys are going to be my panel on this.
Okay.
All right, so we've seen Disney take over Lucasfilm, and we've seen them create a new trilogy franchise, which is okay. It's better than George Lucas's 90 franchise. You know what I'm saying? His prequels. Nothing's going to hold a light to the original 3.
No.
Now Disney gets the idea that we need to create backstories of the characters and understand, what did the Kessel Run in 12 parts, what did that look like? Or when the Rebels got the Death Star plans in Rogue One, what did that look like? Do you think, this question's for you and the chat room, do you think that Disney, because now they have the license, is oversaturating the market with Star Wars films or productions, do you think they're oversaturating the market, creating an unnecessary need for films, and rushing these productions and creating lackluster? I don't want to say lackluster. Creating films that aren't as polished as if George Lucas himself had his fingerprint on it. What do you think? I want to start with Mike right now.
I don't know if it's so much Disney, because if you look at, they own Marvel, and look what they're putting out at Marvel. So I don't know if it's so much Disney. I think it's more Kathleen Kennedy. I think once George Lucas turned the reins over to her, she's just running this into the ground. And I think Iger and the Disney crew need to step in and say, you need to straighten this out or step down and let a different creative mind come into this.
Now, for people, Kathleen Kennedy is president of Lucasfilm, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for people that didn't know that name or whatever, I have to address that. Mike, I have to agree with you. I think that at some point Bob Iger or someone is going to have to step in, because, Kevin Feige, president of Marvel Entertainment.
Can we just borrow Feige and get him to straighten out the Star Wars crap?
You know what, though? Kevin Feige, here's the difference, I think, and please don't quote me or hold me to a lie to what I'm about to say, but Kevin Feige was a comic book fan before he became, he was a fan as a kid. He knows these characters.
Yeah.
He knows about Steve Rogers and Tony Stark before he even assumed a role into these characters as the president. Kathleen, I don't know, man. It's just like,
yeah, we need to have like a
feeling
clone
it.
of Lucas.
I'm not feeling it. Lindsay, what do you think about this?
I think that we are overall with Disney, the market in general is oversaturated.
Yeah.
But more specifically to Star Wars, I feel that they could still put stuff out there, but they need to be very careful with what they're putting out there, because of not only the legacy that it carries, but also the value and the quality of the storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to set a golden standard, a bar, just like any of the Disney cartoons, the vaulted classic Disney cartoons. They have a certain expectation for those type of movies.
They're timeless, though.
Yeah, they're timeless. And Feige has set a gold standard for his standard of quality for the Marvel movies. And I feel like we need to get somebody guiding this car that will not take crap and produce it out just for money. I feel like they need to have somebody that has a real passion for the franchise and for the fan base, and somebody that can find directors like James Gunn, for example, that really puts all of his heart and soul and dedicates himself fully to the franchise and his project and what he's working on.
Even J.J. Abrams.
Yeah,
I mean,
J.J.
Abrams,
Abrams
phenomenal. And that's, Lindsay, I think we're all in agreement.
We need to have a person that's really going to sell it, and don't just put movies out to put movies out. Do it with a purpose.
So here's the painful thing, and we're going to wrap this thing up. And I think Mike and Lindsay will agree with me. We have this franchise, and this franchise is very near and dear to a lot of people's hearts.
Yes.
Star Wars, I grew up, I just grew up with Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see these backstories and these side stories that are in the Star Wars universe. Mm-hmm. But here's the problem. These films are produced and rushed in such a way that they're not given that polished touch. They're not given that refined focus to make it feel like a Star Wars film that pierces your heart. Mm-hmm. And you're getting... I felt it a little bit in Rogue One when the Rebels had to sacrifice everything to get those plans. You can feel a little bit of the depth and the weight in that. But again, with all the introduced characters and everything like that, the story is rushed. Yeah. Even in Rogue One. Han Solo, the story was dramatically rushed. It went through how many directors, it went through how many productions, how many revisions, how many reshoots, and it still turned out lackluster. And somehow, in some way, Ron Howard, being him, put this puzzle together of this story that is, it works, but again, like Lindsay said, the story with Kira and all this, there's a lot of stuff that's like, you're like, what happened?
A lot of stuff missing. Yeah.
It looks like Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars, but again, there's no weight. There's no gravity. There's no investment into the characters that we see on the screen. And I think that's the problem.
If you want the Star Wars to remain in a pop culture sensation and not just be a pop culture icon of a certain decade, you have to produce it at a highest quality.
You have to. And Star Wars is a franchise that literally is known around the world as one of the leading science fiction franchises. And, I just kind of feel with these films, they're just running it in the ground. But with that said, Mike, do you have any closing comments?
Yeah, I just have one quick thing.
Yeah.
As far as a replacement for Kathleen Kennedy, we need somebody like a Dave Filoni, because the guy has been very passionate. I mean, you see it in his work. He's done the last 2 Star Wars animated shows, and I love both of them. I thought they were great. We need somebody like him. And also on the side of, the fans, there is such a big divide right now, and basically fans bashing fans.
Wow.
Because of the way these movies are. There's those that love no matter what it is because it's got a Star Wars stamp on it, and then there's the other fans that want to see the entire. There's more to the Star Wars universe than Luke, Han, Chewie, Lando. There's more characters. There's more stories to be told. Why are we beating this to death of the same thing? Forget about the Obi-Wan story, Boba Fett. There was talk about the New Hope, not New Hope, Old Republic movie.
Old Republic, yeah.
So that could be something where you introduce new characters.
Yeah.
You need to stop beating this old franchise to death, and that's where you have fans turning on fans because of, and this is not a good situation. So
I couldn't agree more, Mike.
They need to step in and have her removed or something, or get somebody. And my choice would be Dave Filoni. I think he'd do a good job.
Yeah.
Well, guys, should we do scores real quick before we wrap the show up?
Yeah, we're going to do scores. Mike, what's your score if you're going to do this 1 out of 10?
I'm going to go with a 7 on this. It was really a disappointment for me. I expected better. There were some surprises.
That's pretty high for a disappointment.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to go. For the few things that I did like.
All right, Lindsay Badger, what was your score?
I'm going to go with a 6.2.
A 6.2. That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it's pretty fair.
I want to meet you guys in the middle and go 6.5. I think if Ron Howard had not stepped in and done what he did, this would have been a tragedy.
It would have been a turd if he hadn't come in and done something.
Anyway, I'm just saying. So, Mike, you made a really good point. We need the Old Republic. We need new characters, new storylines. There's so much in this universe that Lucas has created, and those stories need to be told.
Yeah, I think episode 9 should wrap up that story. Then we should move on to new things if there's going to be anything at all.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap this up, guys. This has been such a great episode, and we had Easter eggs, but we didn't really. I'll give you 3 right quick that I have. Warwick Davis returned for this as Weasel. Did you notice him? And this is a really cool fact for you. He's played 10 characters on screen in the Star Wars saga. That's pretty awesome. Anthony Daniels, the voice of C-3PO, he makes a very quick cameo. He's a human ally of the Wookiees that are freed from the Kessel spice mines. If you catch it, it's a split second, but he's there, and he continues on Anthony Daniels' legacy of being in every Star Wars film to date. And last but not least, Darth Maul is the leader of the Crimson Dawn. We find that out towards the end, and has survived Obi-Wan's butchery.
Crazy. Crazy.
And it was Ray Park. Ray Park returns as Maul and sets the stage for the character's possible new roles. And hopefully they're better roles.
That was like the greatest surprise part. That was like the most emotional part of the whole movie.
Between Chewie, for me, it was Chewbacca and then Maul. I'm like, that's really my takeaway from this movie.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up here. And, man, I tell you what, it's been a great show. We want to thank everybody on our Facebook Live for joining us and just engaging in the conversation, liking and sharing and helping us get this podcast out there. We hope this is a labor of love.
Also, if you guys are watching the replay of this, and you've made it all the way through to the end. Congratulations. And if you feel like you've enjoyed this, or if you know somebody that might enjoy this, go ahead and share this out to them and help spread the word of PopX. Spread the gospel of PopX nerdiness.
Yeah, and that's one thing we really we take a lot of pride in, is that we are a very clean podcast. We don't use profanity or anything, and we want an 8-year-old to enjoy this as much as an 80-year-old.
Yes.
So that's one thing that, that's one of the things why don't they just let loose? Well, there's a reason why. We want our kids to be involved as well. So we're a part of an amazing network called the Gonna Geek Network. For all things even more geeky and nerdy, head on over to our home network at GonnaGeek.com and check out some amazing podcasts on our home network at the Gonna Geek.
That's right. And obviously we're on social media, because that's where you're watching us right now. Here on Facebook, but we're also on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and Pinterest. Everywhere you can find us at PopXcast. You can send comments and suggestions to us via email at popxcast@gmail.com. And for future or past shows, visit our official website, www.popxcast.com. You can find me, Lindsay Badger, at LR Badger, all over the interwebs. And Joe, where can they find you?
Well, I am Joseph Burke at Joseph Burke Arts, and that's ARTS, all over the internet. And of course, hats off to my amazing team PopX as well. This has been a great episode, and I want to thank Mike all the way up in Atlanta for joining us, and for Lindsay Badger over in Oklahoma. Man, I tell you what, we just could not make this run without these two. And, of course, you, our listeners, as well. Mike doesn't have a gift.
And don't forget our missing wheel tonight, Mr. Austin Burke, shall return, more than likely, for the next episode. Look at that.
We get a dancing party with the Muppets. I dig it. Dance party. All right, and so that's it for this episode of PopX Cast. Join us next time for, we'll be back on, I think it's June, what is it? I can't remember.
June 10th.
God. Is it June 10th? No, it's June the 17th.
Oh,
June the 17th, yeah.
Right.
It'll be June the 17th for episode number 79, and you guys voted on it. It's on our Facebook page. We wanted to ask you, who would you like to see on an origin story? Negasonic Teenage Warhead or Captain Marvel? And guess what? It was a 50-50 split right down the middle, and we had several people vote. So on June 17th, 79, we'll be doing Captain Marvel and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, their origin stories. I think it's kind of timely. Good. It's going to be great. And look at that cool graphic. That's
you guys,
awesome.
If you've never seen an origin story episode of PopX, you need to get your popcorn and get your booties here and watch this one.
Absolutely. So from all of us here at PopX Central, thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. And we'll see you next time in just a couple of weeks right here on episode 79.
See you later.
Later.
From everyone at PopXcast, thanks for listening. Be sure to give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and subscribe for more great content. Drop us an email, popxcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and YouTube, all at PopXcast. Get your geek on.